welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. This is going to be the second in a series of 3 videos about this. The NUX Trident multi-effects and amp modeler. So I'm going to get into what video 2 is going to be about in a second. But before I do, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you'll get a notification every time I put up a new video. So the first video I made about this, the NUX Trident, which is their flagship modeler unit, which they sent out to me, by the way. I'll always make that clear. I didn't pay for this. They sent it to me and I'm allowed to keep it for a review. The first video I went through like the I/O and the functionality and stuff, and I set up some basic kind of presets for one of the bands I'm in. And that's kind of generally what I do in the first video I make about any kind of multi-effects unit. This second video is about using it for sort of more complex sounds. So I'm in 2 bands, basically, right? I'm in one band that is a kind of a cover band of the music from the noughties, so like the Strokes and the White Stripes and the Killers and the Kings of Leon and stuff like that, right? Music from 2000 and 2010. In that band, I have like a Marshall setting, which is in the last video, which I'll put up here. I have like a Marshall, 3 presets of Marshall, 3 presets of Fender, and then 1 preset where I go from sort of clean to heavy sounds, right? And I went through those and they're all very basic, and I can switch between them based on different songs. So I might use the Marshall ones for all the raconteur stuff, for the Killer stuff, and then I might use the Fender style one for all the Stroke stuff, for example. But the point being, it's not song based, so I don't have like one preset for Steady As She Goes, and then another preset for She Moves in Her Own Way, and then another preset for all these things that I've done or whatever, right? So I don't have song-based presets. However, in my originals band, it is done like that. So in my originals band, which is called Kampala, and I'll stick a link to our latest single up here. In our set, we use backing tracks and everything's played to a click track. So all of our songs are at specific tempos. That's one thing. And then secondly, I'm the singer and guitar player, and some of the guitar sounds are quite complex. So I need to be able to go switch to the next song and then go intro, verse, chorus. Switch to the next, go intro, verse, chorus. And all the delays and tremolos or everything are timed to the song. A lot of people actually gig like this. Especially if you're the singer and the guitar player in the band. You can't really be doing tap dancing while you're trying to focus on remembering lyrics, singing in key and stuff, and delivering a performance because you're also a frontman, right? So every unit I have that I use for Kampala has to be able to operate like that. And one interesting thing about this is the fact that this has 3 preset switches in the middle means I can have like intro, verse, chorus, or verse, chorus, solo, or whatever it may be. But then I can individually turn on delay, reverb, modulation, compression, and drive within each one of those presets as well, which is part of the reason that this modeler can do this quite well. Now, so what I'm going to do in this demo is show you how to do that. So how to set it up and what the benefits of using this unit in that capacity are. And how I'm going to start doing that is I'm going to show you how I would use it live incidentally, which is the single I just put up there, in an example of a Kampala song. So this is their song called You. It's a snippet of it without the vocals or anything, so you can focus on guitar. And here's how I would use this unit direct to PA, and how the switching on this unit would allow me to do that. So here's an example of it in use. You can see that I'm using a combination of preset changes and then turning on and off individual effects within presets, which is enough of a small workload for me to handle while I'm singing and being the front man of the band, right? So this can do that well. Also, I'm not using it into an amp, I'm using it completely direct. So in that context now, what I'm going to do is, I've made a screen recording and a recording of the unit and a recording of myself demonstrating how I would build out many presets like this, and then culminating in the preset you just saw and how I built it. So here that is. Okay, so how I'm going to go about this is I'm going to record the screen because I'm going to do most of the editing in the app, right? But I'm also recording the unit itself because there's some things you can't edit in the app, which I reckon are going to change in the update, that you need to still edit on the unit. Okay, so what this video is about really is, as I mentioned in the intro, having to program a lot of presets to use live. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is go into my first preset and find my basic amp tone, right? So I have built some of these presets already. I'm going to show you what I did. So I'm going to turn off everything for a sec except the amp. And this is preset 1.1, which is called Modern Disease Fuzz. You can see that here. Okay, so back to the amp. The first thing I do is I get the guitar I'm going to use, which by the way in this case is this Hagstrom Juice F, which is a twin humbucker semi-hollow guitar, right? And I find an amp sound that's a clean amp, because I'm going to use, actually important, a clean amp, but one that breaks up in a pleasing way. So what this is a Fender Deluxe reverb that I have the gain set at 4, right? So what I get then is I get a clean sound with a bit of like bite to it. Then if I pick lightly, or if I go to single coil, it's clean. But if I hit hard, it gets a little bit of breakup. And the reason for that is I don't have distortion models in the overdrive or boost section. And that means that all the overdrive or distortion that I'm going to get, all the distortion I'm going to get is going to have to be helped along by the amp being a little bit dirty, right? Now, as I go through different sounds or different songs, I may change the gain characteristics on that one amp. But the important thing is, for every single preset as I go down, I'm only going to use one amplifier. So I'll start off with the Deluxe Reverb. This song starts off with quite a heavy sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a boost. I'm going to add the boost to get it very distorted. I always have some sort of delay on. I'm going to turn on the tape echo. The level is it's decent, right? But it's still low in the mix. Short repeats. Oh, and the BPM of this song. So, as I mentioned before, all of our songs have tracks going, which means I time all my delays to be exactly in time. So that is, and I'm going to discuss this now. So right now you can see the BPM here is at 100 BPM, which is the BPM of this song. However, there's no way on the unit for me to set, all I have is level, time and repeats. I can't set subdivisions. So in order to set subdivisions, you have to go over to the unit. We're going to do that now. So over here on the unit, all I do is, you can see, you can't really see the screen here unfortunately, but because the contrast is too light for the camera, there's level, time, repeats as there is on the app, but then there's also this little subdivision thing. So I hit over there and then I can use the parameter knob to select different subdivisions. Sorry. Parameter knob to set different subdivisions. In this case I want it on a dotted 8, so it's set correctly already. The part of the song goes. Right? Then for the next part of the song, I simply turn off the boost, which I'll do over here. Come into the clean part of the song. Delay and everything's still perfectly in time. So then I go into preset B, which I know I have to be back out of the home menu. Preset B, where I bring in a different booster, right, to get it a little bit cleaner. and I turn on a rotary. So, same amp setting, because in the gig I'm not going to change the amp for in the middle of a song. So same amp setting, but I have a rotary on in the mod, and I have a different booster on that's not as heavy as the first booster. And then I have a plate reverb on and a delay on. Okay. Then on to the last part of this song. That's just the chorus part. Onto the solo, I have a significant volume boost, and I've done that. Go back to the amp. By pushing the level in the power amp, okay? So I've also upped the gain on the preamp to 7 here from 4, and I've pushed the level to get me louder, and then I've used a tube screamer to get a bit of mid push to get that solo to poke out. So that's how I'm always using the same amp, and then I'm bringing in different effects as I see fit, as I go from part to part. So that's the way I've done all the presets in this song. And as I mentioned, I've had to set the, what are they called? The subdivisions on the unit itself, because there's no way to do it in the app. So then I've got all these other songs: Lonely Lives, Perfect, Perfect, Progress, Don't Look Down, Don't Look Solo, Home Away Heavy, Home Away End. And then You is the song that I did a demo of. So I'm just going to show you how I did that, right? So again, stuck with the same amplifier, the Lux reverb. I have the level at 82 here, right? And by the way, how I did this was I go into my first preset and I copy it into all 3 slots. And then I edit the 3 slots. That way I know I'm in the right ballpark in terms of the overall sound as a gig as I flow through, okay? So the U intro has, again, a very specific timed 85 beats per minute dotted 8 delay, which sounds like this. As you heard in the intro, in the demo I did, right? Then what happens is I simply hit the modulation switch, and it goes. So it brings it in tremolo. But again, this unit has this problem where the tremolo adds a significant volume boost, so I don't really want. There's no way to control that. So the first preset within this bank for this song has both the intro sound and then the first verse sound, which is, I just moved the tremolo from the regular mod position to the end because I want the whole sound to be tremoloed, because it has delay. Okay, and then, so the next sound is a heavy sound, where I play this riff. What I've done there is I've changed the boost to be the Morning Glory, well, whatever their version of the Morning Glory is, because I wanted a kind of a transparent kind of sound, but with a bit of gain. I have a compressor on, because I have that on from the clean sound, and it helps even things out for the riff. And then I have a plate reverb and a tape delay that, again, I have set to dotted 8s, right? And then that's the second part. Right, and then for the last preset, go into U main here, and this is a really pronounced delay part in the verse. But it's also the same for the chorus. So that's how I would go around. So basically, what I would do then is, in principle, you set up your first preset, you get the bass sound you want, and then you get that preset and you repeat it for every single song, and then doctor it to suit that particular song. Change the BPM, change the amp level if you want to boost it up, like change the gain range of the amplifier by lowering the volume and turning up the master level in power amp, like here. So I'll just show you that actually, right? So off the boost. So here is the amp, and I'll turn off the compressor. Here is the amp by itself. If I wanted to make that cleaner, I would wind the volume back and wind the level up. Here I would wind the gain or the level up and wind the volume back. And so that's the first thing I would do. Make sure I got the amp set to the gain structure I want for that particular song. And I'd always use the same amp throughout the whole set, because you're not going to be changing amps in your original band set. It's very unlikely. Unless you were using 2 amps and switching between them or something like that. And then basically I just go in and tailor all the effects, the tempos of the effects and stuff like that to the song in question. One interesting thing, actually, if I go back up to U intro, on that tremolo that comes on with the switch, right? So keep hitting that camera. So when I turn on the tremolo, you'll see it. That's in time with 85 beats per minute. There's no way to set that. So I basically had to turn on a click track and go in and just twist the knob until I got the exact right time setting for the tremolo, which in this case, at 85 beats per minute, a 16th tremolo is at 76 on this particular unit. So there's no way to go in and tell it to sync it to the piece. So that's how you build your presets. Works really, really well. So there you go. That's the second part of the demo about the Trident. Okay. So I think as a direct solution, in a live situation, the ability to bend down and change things like the delay, reverb, mod, and effects on the fly, as well as the amp settings, would be very, very useful. So if I get to a venue, I plug in and I find out that something doesn't quite sound right on a one-to-one kind of or one-off kind of basis, I can go in and manipulate it, and that's really important. I think if you're looking for a compact, capable multi-effects unit that's also very editable on the fly, this is a really good choice. I think NUX have done a really good job in basically combining the Amp Academy and the Cerberus is what this is. And I think it does that really, really well. It has the functionality and easy access of the Cerberus, but with the really, really great amp sounds of the Amp Academy. So that's the second video. In the last video, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to combine it with outboard pedals for using direct into the front of an amp, which I haven't done yet at all. I haven't used it in that capacity at all. And I think if I was to take this away and go flying with it, or else even use it here as my main rig, most of the time when I play gigs, I'm playing into a house amp with Kampala. So I would want to use it into an amp and with external pedals. And I'll explain why I would use external pedals and not the onboard pedals in that video, which will be next week. So, thanks. The Trident from NUX. Pretty amazing piece of kit. Thank you for watching if you watched this far. And if you have, you've obviously enjoyed the content. So I'll ask you to please do me a favour and like and subscribe. Yeah. And I'll see you in another video again soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.